Hey, what's up, fam? It's your boy Patrick Bentley, founder and CEO of TechPeer. And today I'm going to actually be blending two topics into one video. So I want to talk to you about the competitive analysis that we use with every single new client that we onboard. And also, I want to talk to you about how we actually create a standard operating procedure or SOP so that we can then delegate that, whether that's to a virtual assistant or whether that's to someone else on your team, right? So first, let's talk about why it's actually important that you do a competitive analysis. Well, the most important thing, right? And this is truly a secret if you don't already know this. But look, a lot of times it's not necessary for you to actually reinvent the wheel. So, what do I mean by that? Well, whatever industry you're in, there are probably some other big dogs, right? Bigger companies. And we can take a look at some of the things that they're doing and whether it's working or not. And then we can implement those same things into our strategies or into our customer strategies, right? So it's really good just to go out here and see what is actually already being done, whether it's companies that are much larger than you, or you can actually look at competitors that are in your market, in your space, right, and of comparable size, and see where there may be some things that you can take advantage of. So maybe they're doing some things that aren't working and you can tweak those, or maybe there are some things that you're aware of that they're not even doing, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and jump in. So let's take a look at my document, right? And I'm just going to show you all the document that we use with our clients, but then we're also going to take a look at the process and the SOP that we use so that we can then delegate this to other people, right? But essentially, so this is just an example of I'm just hypothetically, let's say that I want to do a real estate client, a realtor that's in Huntsville, Alabama, right? So what are the things that I'm actually going to do? Let's flip over to my process first, right? So everything that I do through my business, I always try to create a standard operating procedure for it. So that way I can just delegate that to somebody else, right? So once you do a thing 2 or 3 times and you really understand how to do it, right, then hey, let's give it to somebody else, right? So I think that a CEO's job is to really be focused on bringing the business forward, right? And you can't do that if you're stuck doing, sort of, or getting into the minutia of the business, right? Like you should be focused on getting clients, building those relationships, and creating a strategy for the business. But that's just me. But anyway, so let's jump in, right? So I always include what tools we're going to use. How do we actually get it going? What are the steps for every single thing that we need to do? And so I will just run you through these steps really quick. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create or find out who are the 5 to 10 direct and indirect competitors that we have in this market. So we actually just do a simple Google search here. So how do your clients find you on Google? And once you do that, then you're going to get a list, right? And then we just start going through some of the different tools that we have. So the first tool that we're going to use is a tool called SimilarWeb. And this will just give us some information like, hey, are they using a content management system like WordPress or Webflow or Shopify, right? Do they have Google Analytics? Are they using that? Do they have a Facebook pixel? So these will tell you a little bit more about the sophistication of your competition in a specific market. And then what we're going to do is we will also find out, well, what is the total visits that they have, right? Where do they rank? How many pages are users going to per visit? All this different stuff, right? I won't dig too much into detail here into a lot of the different terms and bore you, right? But ultimately what we want to do, and these numbers may not always be accurate, but what we want to do is we want to get a sense of what kind of tools they're using and how sophisticated they are, right? And then what we want to do, right, is then we want to actually use a tool called SEMrush, right? And SEMrush is going to give us some information as well. But then we also, and I'll come back to that, but then what we want to do is we actually just want to go to the site and do a little deep dive here, right? So do they have a blog? Do they have white papers? Do they have videos? Do they have a podcast, right? This will tell us a lot about what types of content marketing they're doing, what types of content is actually effective, right? So are they using infographics? Do they have a frequently asked questions section? Do they have a media kit, right? Then we actually will go to Facebook and see, like how active they are on social media, what kind of content is working there, what's their follower count. And again, this just gives us a better idea of what are some of the best tactics to use in this particular market, right? Like maybe users are responding to different content versus others. And it's good for us when we're onboarding clients to understand, and we can probably borrow from some of these tactics if these are bigger players in the market. Or we may find, we may identify a specific opportunity that may not being exploited yet, right? So anyway, so we go through the social media sites as well. And then remember what I was telling you is that we actually will then go to, we will actually use SEMrush, right? And SEMrush is a paid tool, but what this does is this allows us to kind of understand like how are they using SEO, right? So what are the keywords? What kind of traffic are they building? How much does it cost? How much of that is branded versus non-branded traffic? And we can talk a little bit more about that in another video. We actually will do things like just see what kind of Facebook ads they have, if they have any at all, any Google ads, right? So the main thing that I want to point out here as a business owner, someone who has a website, if you have any type of digital property, this is a process that you need. This is a thing that you definitely need to do, right? So you need to understand what's working and not, what your competition is up to, especially if you're a local competitor, like within a specific municipality or a local area. It's really good to understand what the competition is doing, even if they're not direct competitors. And the other thing I want to mention is that everything that I just talked about, the process that I just went through, I have this in an SOP, right? And I even have a video. So I have a video for my team members, and they can then get on and they can take a look at this in the typed out version, but then they can also see me walking through this process as well. So I'm going to make another video to talk about how we actually are creating SOPs for our business, right? So remember, I work a full-time job and I also do this as well. So leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in as well. Definitely want to dive into more of how we actually work as a global team, especially with some of us doing some other things. So that's very valuable too, right? So delegate, make sure you're doing your competitive analysis. Until next time, hope this is valuable to you. Peace.